Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the top 10 tips to make more money in 2018. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day today to join us. We've got a lot of information to cover today, so we'll try to make it as quick as possible. So we'll have a pretty quick pace, and I'm looking forward to some questions at the end. So what do you say,
Let's
Paul?
get started.
I got Paul here with me. I want to take the opportunity to got a little problem here.
Technical difficulties, please stand by.
There we go. I want to take a minute to introduce myself. My name's John Tabor. I'm the new Director of Training here at UDS. I've kind of given you a little bit of my resume up there. I've been in the business for over 30 years, 16 years in a dealership environment, spent 3 years as a dealer. 10 plus years in the service contract, ancillary products and training business. I was VP and director of direct-to-dealer business for a large provider. And my responsibilities also included our training arm. We owned a 20 group composite company. I was responsible for that P&L. And we also had a CRM called Traffic Log Pro, which I was responsible for. When I left the company, I was global VP for training and product development. That's a little bit about me. But let's get into our...
Now we're going to make it about you.
Yes.
How do you make more money in 2018?
Well, you know, at the end of the year is a great time to start thinking about what we've done, but it's also a great time to be looking forward into 2018 and thinking about what can I do different, how can we improve and do those types of things. So we thought our format for today would be to share the top 10 tips, starting with 10 and working our way down to 1 like they used to do on the David Letterman show. So what do you say, Paul? Should we get started?
Let's get started.
All right.
Tip number 10.
Read everything you can read that pertains to F&I and sales. You know, you need to be a student of the game, and we also want to be a student of our business and stay current. There's tons of, publications out there that we should read. You see them in the dealership, automotive news, online. You can subscribe. There's lots of places that we can find this information, but we want to learn what's driving the business. We want to know what's going on and keeping, aware of everything that's happening. The other thing we can do is gain knowledge from others' experience. There's plenty of articles in these publications that are written by trainers, developers, people with a lot of experience that can help us. So we want to make sure that, we take those opportunities and look for those. We want to look for more about why and how people buy. Learning about the psychology of sales and what makes people tick can help us be better and recognize people's traits and behaviors quicker. We want to understand how certain groups, such as millennials as well as others, want to buy. The landscape is changing. People that were born, the baby boomers and the Generation X and millennials, they all have different things that appeal to them. They have different motives. They buy differently. And we have to be able to work over a broad landscape of different types of customers. 30 minutes a day. There was a guy named Earl Nightingale who brought this to bear, and I learned this a long time ago, and I thought it was a very interesting fact. And he said that if you select one subject and you spend 30 minutes a day on that subject, studying that subject, within 3 years, you'd be an expert. Within 5 years, you would be a leading national expert on that subject. And if you did 30 minutes a day for 7 years, you would be a world expert on that subject. Interesting. How much time do we spend in our day on us, getting better, doing things differently? Ready to go?
And one other place you can find as a resource is the UDS website. It's evolving constantly. We add more information to it. Almost like every single day these days, so you can keep checking back on that website. If you don't have your login and password, see your UDS regional manager. So tip number 10 was read everything that you can that pertains to F&I sales. And now tip number 9.
Hold the best sales and training meetings in the dealership. One of the things that I really want to stress is that as an F&I manager today, you need to attend every sales meeting. I know there's lots to do in the morning, but you want to be at every meeting and be a key contributor. It gives you an opportunity to educate the sales staff on the products you sell and why those products benefit the lives and make the lives of your customers better. You can teach them why it's important to control the process and why your process is important to getting the vehicle delivered in a timely manner with accuracy and compliance. Show them what you do and how you do it. I was in a dealership not too long ago where part of their new employee orientation for salespeople is that they had to spend a morning in F&I with the F&I manager, watching what he did or she did and how they did it, and sitting in on a menu presentation and close. It really gave that salesperson a better understanding of what happens in there and kind of took the mystery out of it. It's a great idea. If you get a chance, maybe incorporate that into your training. Show them how to accurate information can speed up the process. I know this has probably not happened to any of you, but there are sometimes in dealerships mistakes on paperwork that slow down the process.
No way.
Or maybe you've printed a whole, series of documents and found out that there's some incorrect information on there. I don't know, has that ever happened to you, Paul?
I think yesterday when we were talking about that, I said the only F&I managers who has never had any kind of glitch in paperwork is the F&I manager who hasn't taken a deal yet.
Yeah, exactly. Show them how F&I touches every department in the store. I mean, certainly you touch sales, but you're also involved with an administration, the service department, even parts. Get ready. F&I really touches every department in the store.
Number 8.
Refine your process. Don't make customers wait. Number 1 complaint in the buying process, believe it or not, is the wait in between, yes, I'll take the car, we've agreed on a deal, and how long it takes to get into F&I. It's a tough time for the customer. We know how the salespeople feel about it, and we know that you're doing everything you can to get ready, especially when deals are stacked up, but we don't want to make them wait. Don't let the old way stand in the way of your F&I success. Look for ways to improve this process. You want to train the bad habits out of the salespeople that slow them down. I hear a lot of complaints from time to time, but this is a great opportunity for you to take those, repeat offenders and show them what to do. Show them how to do it the right way. It also gives us an opportunity to work on your process and become more efficient. Look for ways that you can do that. Every minute makes a difference. So how can you become more efficient in how you do it? Partner with the desk to ensure that the deals are coming in cleaner to F&I. We talk about getting out of the F&I office and getting out on the desk every chance you get, and that gives you an opportunity to influence that. Train on the value of the service department tour. Nothing really sets up what we do better than that. It really creates a need in the customer's mind and makes an intangible tangible if that service walk is done properly. Now, there's a lot of confusion sometimes in stores of whose responsibility it is to train that. Is it the service department because we're making the first oil change? Is it the sales department because it's their customer? And I would challenge you to say it's your responsibility. Make sure it's happening the way you want it to happen. Make sure the salespeople are endorsing it the correct way, and make sure that the service advisors are doing it the way you want them to. Teach how to do a proper TO. It's good to inspect what you expect once in a while and get out there and make sure that it's getting done the right way.
If you're not trained to provide correction to the situation, then it's basically like insanity. You're expecting something that's never going to happen. So take a few minutes to train, and it comes back to you many, 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 many times over. Number 7.
Practice, drill, and rehearse, then practice, drill, and rehearse some more. Practice makes anybody? It makes permanent. So, how much time do you spend on your craft getting better at what you do? When was the last time you spent time going over your word tracks and making sure that you're right on the mark? I strongly suggest that you video your presentation a lot. Do it once a month, once a quarter. Anything better is better than what most people do now. As a matter of fact, when I talk to F&I people, they'll tell me that the last time they really watched a video of themselves was when they were in F&I school. And if that's the case, you're overdue. And I know some of you have just gone through that process. But it's a great process. It's a little tough, but if you get used to it, you'll pick up on things that you can about yourself, and you can see that you'd want to change. And by the way, most of us are our own harshest critic when it comes to watching a video of ourselves. So you'll know what to do. Learn some new ways to close. We want to be able to have a lot of tools in our toolbox. We want to be able to have our go-tos, but there are some times where it might be advantageous to learn something new now and then. The best way to learn is to teach, so check out tip number 9. And then, constantly seek feedback. Professionals seek input from other professionals to improve. So find somebody in the store that you trust, that you consider a professional, either in F&I or possibly in management, that you can role play with, present to, so that they can give you some feedback on what you're doing and how you're doing it. We have data that does that too. We can look at the scoreboard and see how we're doing from our products per PPR, our products per retail, our percentages. But I want to also consider that you want to look at your performance from a visual perspective as well.
You guys know that your cell phones are a great tool with this, because you can set it up to videotape yourself. I know you all do your own selfies, so just do a video. You don't even have to have anybody else in the same room. You can do that video and then critique yourself and learn from it and get better and better and better what you do. Your presentation is what the customer sees, so you want to know what they're seeing. Tip number 6.
One more thing before we move to tips. Tip number 6, utilize all your resources. And what I mean by that is that if we're in the store, pull us aside. If you have something you want to work on, that's what we're there for. So make sure you utilize every resource you have.
Let's do it.
Let's do that 6 again for me.
Tip number 6.
All right. Get better at managing your daily tasks. There's no such thing as time management, only the prioritization of time. And Paul and I were talking about this the other day. A simple to-do list, if you check it often, can change your life, especially in F&I. When you think of all the things that are going on in your office on a daily basis, especially on those days when we're really busy and deals are stacking up and we have people waiting, that doesn't mean that all the other things that we do go away. We still have to, we still have callbacks, we still have to rehash, we still have all those things that we need to get done. We need to get a piece of information from a customer. There's all those things, and by keeping a running to-do list on your desk, written down, it can really make a difference in time, in how you prioritize your time. This is probably the best piece of advice I've ever gotten. Do it now. Procrastination is an enemy of F&I, and if you've got the time, get it done, get it off your list, and move on to the next thing.
Especially when it comes to CITs.
Amen.
Get her done.
That's cash flow. Clean and reorganize your office. It's a great time to take a look at your office and say, what does it look like? As I look at videos, we usually do a video in the F&I office, and one of the things that the F&I people comment to me about a lot after they've watched the video a couple of times is the condition of their office. They'll see the clutter, they'll see things sitting that the customer sees that they don't, because their back is to it all the time. So this is a great time to clean your office, reorganize, and spiff it up for the new year. Look to stay ahead of the flow. That gets back to doing it now and always trying to stay ahead of what's coming at you and manage that the best you can. We've all had those days where we feel like we've gotten behind it, and you know what those feel like. So we always want to try to anticipate and stay ahead of it whenever we can. Inspect what you expect. We talked about that a little bit earlier. If you're delegating any tasks, make sure they're getting done. And then probably the most important thing here is, am I doing the most productive thing I could be doing right now? I had a dealer give that to me on a business card, and I've kept it ever since. And I've had some made, and I put it on my desk. And, there is never spare time in F&I. If you have spare time, if you're standing around, there's something not getting done, and you know what I'm talking about. It's one of the only, jobs in that dealership where there's always something that you could be doing. Ready?
Number 5.
Expand the introduction step to include a trade walk. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds a little crazy, but when possible, do it. If you have the time, a great place to introduce and talk to the customers at their trade. You can learn what the customer, how they take care of a vehicle. You can learn what's important to the customer, products that they need but they don't know it. I mean, we all know that that's a great place to build rapport with the customer because they're comfortable there, and we can learn so much. So take advantage of that whenever you can.
This guy did not get diamond finish.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Be the undisputed world champion product knowledge expert in your dealership. You know, it kind of goes without saying, but I would strongly suggest, if you haven't done it in a while, read every declaration page and all the T's and C's on every product that you sell. You know, you want to know what the best product is for each customer's needs and match that product to their needs. You want to be able to explain all the benefits, not only as they're written, but we want to be able to talk about how those benefits can make our customers' lives better. And that's where the value happens. You know, people see price, and that tips in the value, categories when they see how that product can make their life better or easier. We want to embrace the claims process and don't run from it. You know, this is a tough one. You know, I don't want to deal with it in F&I. People call me about claims, but I strongly would suggest that you let people know that if they ever make a claim and they have an issue, to call you first, because they think that you sold them the product. They didn't buy it from Allstate or CNA or somebody else. They bought it from you.
And oh, by the way, you did get paid on it.
And you did get paid on it. And you can direct them and just be that friendly voice, and then it can push them in the right direction and help them get it done. So embrace it. Don't run from it. Know our products complement each other and why. You know, you can't buy anything today without an attempt at bundling. If you're online or, you know, and you pick out a product, I picked out a miter saw for myself online at Lowe's, and it gave me, as soon as I clicked on it, it said, people who have picked this have also looked at this product. You go into a phone to get your phone, a new phone, and what do they want to do? They want to sell you phone, internet, home security, and cable. So know what products go together, complement each other, and why they do. And, you know, when we're presenting that first menu, first column in the menu, or first option, you know, be able to talk about those categories. It helps you a lot.
Number 3.
Not yet. We got to know every answer to any product question without hesitation. If you hesitate on a product question, it kills your credibility. We've all had it happen, and we all know what it feels like when we don't know the answer. But when we can answer quickly, confidently, and accurately, it builds a lot of trust and credibility with a customer. Okay, Paul, we're ready now.
Okay, now number 3.
Market your products outside F&I. You know, install or reinstall that service drive program that you had going. You know, it's a great place to sell service contracts and other products. You know, those products that we don't have to sell right at the point of purchase. When you think about it, that is when there's more of an emotional attachment to these products than any other time. They see a need. They're involved in a situation where either if they're still under warranty, they don't have to pay for it. If they're out of warranty, they are. If they didn't purchase the service contract at time of sale, they're starting to think about it because they really see that it's real. There's no other time where an intangible becomes more tangible than when they're standing in that service department. This is another spot where you have to take the lead. You're going to have to do the training. You're going to be the one that's going to have to make sure that that happens. Also, you want to call customers 60 days out from their warranty expiration and that didn't buy a service contract at sale, and offer them enrollment in a VSC for all the reasons we just talked about. But when you think about it, you know, if you're selling 100 units a month, you know, and you're at 35%, let's say you're at 40% service penetration, that leaves 60 people that didn't buy it. So let's just say 20 of those couldn't or weren't eligible. That still leaves 40. That's over, you know, that's almost 500 prospects a year that you can be marketing your products to. And what would 3 or 4 or 5 extra service contracts a month without a sale attached to them do for your numbers?
Plus give you a nice raise for the year.
How about that? Talk to your GM about getting information about your products on your website. If they're not there, talk about it. I challenge you to Google service agreement for my whatever and see what comes up. I'm almost 100% certain it's not going to be your dealership or your name. But why not? Dealerships spend thousands of dollars on AdWords and SEO to make sure that they come up on a search. Why not products, service agreements, and some of the products that we sell should come up as well. And you know what would really be great is if it was your dealership and you. Tell everybody who you know what you do, where you do it, and what you sell, and why the products that you sell make people's lives better. You have to have a genuine enthusiasm that you're doing a service for your customer when they enroll in every product that we sell.
Now we're getting down to it.
Let's do it.
Tip number 2.
Focus on benchmark performance. We talk about PVR of 1200, PPR of 2.0, and service contract percentage at 50%. That's benchmark. So you want to measure yourself against the group. You have the data. Look at where you are, what others are doing, and kind of measure yourself there. Then what we want to do is train for improvement. We can see what we need to work on. We can see where we are against the group, and that kind of tells us, hey, you know what? I need to work on my core products, or maybe I need to work on a specific thing. And the numbers don't lie; they tell us a story, and they direct us to where we need to train. Here's the good news. Small improvements over time make a huge impact. So we don't have to go from 35 or 33 to 50 overnight. But if we see steady growth over time, we know that we're going to get there. And that's the kind of line that we love to see on our graph, is that slow line that's rising from the left to the right. And then, of course, just never be satisfied. I learn every day. Everybody does. We can always get better at what we do, and we can push further. And that's what we need to be doing in F&I every time. And let's get we're there.
We're about there.
And we're on time.
Hey, focus on benchmark performance. We want to look at the successes, but we also want to look for those opportunities and make sure that we have the analysis. And your regional manager can help you look at those look for those opportunities, so we can focus on them, coach to them, train to them, and make them part of your successes for 2018. And now, tip number 1.
Number 1, here it comes. Use the UDS auto tracking to forecast and set goals for 2018. We talked about this at the beginning. We want to look back and then kind of forecast what we're going to do in 2018. Pros don't wait to see what happens. They make it happen. And, I want you to think about what you want to make this year. I'm assuming you want to make more than you made last year. And then whatever that dollar figure is, I want to then look at my data and figure out where that money can come from. So I want to use last year's data to see where you are, where you can improve, and what those improvements can do for your bottom line. So if it's $10,000, you want to make more, $15,000, whatever the number is, I want to be able to look at each month, see what my production was, see where those opportunities are, try on the PVR, PPR, and VSC percentage, and then forecast those increases by month and quarter, and then create a plan of what you'll need to get there, and then stick to it. That's really the important thing, is if I can increase my service agreement percentage by 10 points, that extrapolates to a dollar amount. If I can, have more products per per customer, this is what it's going to do for me money-wise. So it's a great exercise. It keeps you on track. And I would also consider, when you're looking at your performance, to consider including a 90-day rolling average category in your performance data. Because that, as you're going through 2018, that really gives you a clearer picture of where you are performing. We have good months, we have some that aren't so good, but that gives you that average that you need to say, I am X. I know that I'm really a 35% penetration on VSC, even though last month I was 50, but if I average my production over the last 3 months, I'm at 38 or whatever the number is. And then track the results and make adjustments through the year based on the variance that you have.
And your UDS regional manager is more than happy to help you set up some forecasts, set up some goals, set up some objectives, and then help you track them through the year and help you train to them, coach to them, and accomplish them. So that at the end of 2018, your income will be substantially better than it was at the end of 2017.
So, quick review of the steps. Pull out your phone, take a picture of this screen if you want to get a quick down and dirty on what we talked about, but it's read everything you can that pertains to F&I and sales. Hold the best sales meeting and training meetings in the dealership. Refine your process. Practice, drill, and rehearse. Get better at managing our daily tasks. Expand the introduction to include a trade walk whenever we have the opportunity. Really work on our product knowledge and be the person that is the go-to all the time. Market your product outside of F&I for that income that we can apply to our numbers that really make a big difference. And then focus on benchmark performance. And then number one, of course, is forecast. Let's set some goals for 2018, come up with a plan, and make those things happen. So, the key to making 2018 the best year ever is you. And if you have any questions, now would be a great time.
Raise your hand or fire them in.
We'll try it. I think some of you are muted. Any questions?
Any questions, comments, concerns?
Crickets?
Christmas list you want to pass along? There we are.
Well, I have my name, my email, and my phone number at the bottom of the slide here. Feel free to call me anytime you'd like, or send me an email or a text. And if I can be of any help, I would be glad to do it. And I'm looking forward to meeting each of you. Have a great holiday.